But this is gonna be bad. It's one of his bigger average jobs, is what he's saying.
That's a lot, and that's not even all of them.
Obviously not a good situation starting out with this cabin. Well, we just finished doing an initial walkthrough with Austin, the guy that's coming out here to cut these trees down and take care of this for us. It's pretty ugly, not gonna lie. We knew when we bought this place that there was a lot of dead trees and we had the 2 beetles that were killing things. But this is gonna be bad. We knew with this cabin that the inside was remodeled and it wasn't gonna be a flip a cabin type of channel and type of videos that we're doing. We knew there was gonna be something like this coming, but definitely not to this extent.
Those are the ones we just totally lay on you, and I say, hey, in a mad storm, it could come over, the top could snap out.
Yeah.
And obviously where it's at, that's total destruction.
For sure. This and Nut Beach right there, that's a scary one.
Right here.
Yeah, I mean that's, I first saw that one and I was like, I made the call come a little sooner than we're just walking around, and again, it's gonna have to be some point.
See the white on it? That's wax from the bug that's drilled in there. That's not actually the fungus, but
Okay.
that means that bug took the fungus in there.
Sure, okay.
And then when you see it mid-span on a tree like that, that's where they snap, like the one.
Okay, I got you.
So it'll leaf out, and everyone's, oh no, there's nothing wrong with it. It's actually worse because now you have a sail up there.
And,
I'd get them out because obviously those are within.
yeah, they're house distance.
Right.
And they have buds on them, so they're probably getting leaves sometime
so
soon.
all that weight
Yeah.
goes to the top, and then you get a
Okay.
good windstorm in the summer. And,
Pretty big house call.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll do this thing.
Probably would have had a good mushroom spot up here 2 years ago when there was more ash.
Oh yeah, is that what they're growing?
No, I honestly, my recommendation would be you're in a perfect location here. You got enough property. You guys just want to get it done. We can bring a chipper up in here because this is so much. We'd actually probably bring our smaller excavator that's got a grapple on it and a chainsaw.
Okay.
It's just it's a small one, but we can sit here and feed it into a chipper.
Okay.
So we'd fall one of these trees down. It literally, the guy'd never touch it. We'd
Just go
feed it right into a chipper, and we can make you a pile of chips somewhere that you can use.
Yeah.
Okay,
for
nice.
trails or
Yeah.
whatever. You've,
Well, that's the thing.
you've already
okay, well, yeah, do it now. All the shit's gonna die.
Right. Yeah, and then you'll still have some nice trees around that you can look healthy. That's why we try to, when we go that way, we look back at these trees.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's much here.
I spent the past 2 weeks walking around like this the whole time.
Right,
so
right.
It's just
As you can tell, it is pretty cold here today, and he just left. We obviously have a ton of thoughts about everything he shared with us. He is full of knowledge about trees and just everything we probably need to know about our property. And Connor and I just walked around and counted all of the trees he marked. He didn't even mark all of them that need to go, just the ones we are first worried about the most. How many did you get?
55, 56.
I got 55 too!
That's a lot of trees.
55 trees. It feels good to have him out here and marking everything, just knowing we want to keep this property healthy as well as keep our house from getting hit with some trees, but 55 trees. That's a lot, and that's not even all of them.
This property is a pretty narrow rectangle. It goes a lot farther that way than it does widthwise. And once it gets past an area to where you can have 1 or 2 fall that will then hit the house, we're not worried about that at all. We've walked it a few times, and to be honest, there's a lot of huge ones down already. And we'll put some clips of that in this video kind of as we're talking about things. So we're not worried about that. There's nothing back there. There's no neighboring houses. We have nothing built in that area. At some point, if we do decide to do another cabin or something
Just
back
something
there,
fun.
some project back there, we'll worry about it then. But for now, this is the initial kind of danger zone for
Yeah,
our cabin and
that's a
our
good
cars, our camper. If people are here, it's stuff that we want to feel comfortable walking around this area.
Totally.
Some of these, he's like, I wouldn't stand anywhere near it until we get it down because it's cracked all the way up through the center.
Yeah, he didn't even want to stand and talk by some because he's like, I've been by trees that just crack on a sunny day. So today's pretty windy. Don't want that happening to us. But yeah.
We got a lot to talk about, and we're gonna go inside. We'll gather our thoughts, kind of figure out what he says and comes back with. It's gonna be a big project, so it's probably gonna delay lots of other projects.
We knew when we bought this house, looking at the property, there are a ton of trees that have snapped and just look very unhealthy. So it's good to know that we planned for this, but
not this much.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we planned for 55 trees. I planned maybe
10,
20.
15, 20?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, looking at what we've walked around and seen the amount of trees on the ground, but holy crap.
He was talking about being able to leave some versus not. He was saying if it was 5 or 7 years ago, we could stage this out and we could save some until they get worse. But at this point, he's like, everything is coming down. It's just how it is. I don't trust myself enough to take these down. He said he's gonna have to get people in here up with ropes and get the top halves going certain ways because gravity's not anybody's favor. And they have to be safe just as much as we do. So we're gonna let the professionals handle this. And then we could be able to maintain it.
When the wind blows and the windows are closing, you let the world know what has been has been. There's no use in looking back, going back, wishing back. Cutting grass and chopping wood can be romantic. Sipping coffee under the apple tree is gentle manly. Well, you're a good man, quite the best man, a real fine man. When the wind blows and the windows are closing, you let the world know that what has been has been. And there's no use in looking back, going back, wishing back.
She just said it feels like 31 degrees, so I'm sure this won't be the only group of firewood that we're bringing in the house.
You turn rain into a blue sky. Oh, when the wind blows and the windows are closing, you let the world know.
As I kind of mentioned when we were there, the bigger ones are the more expensive ones, obviously.
Sure.
And then the smaller ones, not all of them, but a good majority of them need to be removed for us to have a place to fall the bigger ones without damaging the hemlocks. What we do is it's kind of like, dominoes. We fall one way and we fall the other one the other way and kind of open a hole up so we have an area to drop them into.
Obviously, like you were saying, that's definitely a huge chunk of money. But it makes sense that if you have to get all the smaller ones out of the way first before you can drop those bigger ones.
Yeah, and what ends up happening is if you just, let's say the smaller one's there, it slows us down with taking the big ones down. So it's not, and then in general, the smaller ones aren't that expensive. So if we looked at just the smaller ones and broke those out, you'd probably be around maybe $3,500 if that for the smaller ones.
Okay.
So it's it's minimal.
Sure.
It's the ones that are hung up, the ones that are cracked, all that stuff that we just obviously have to be super safe and
Yeah, absolutely.
And then also trying to save the hemlock. So great, that's bringing in an excavator, that's bringing in another smaller Avant machine, that's bringing in our chipper, and then 3 guys. So we move along quite quickly. Yeah, so I don't know what direction you guys are leaning towards there, and with the falling up, happy to do that, but it'll be an absolute nightmare for somebody and not safe because the way we have to get them on the ground, they'll kind of be tangled up and they could be sprung or we try to lay them out as nice as we can, obviously, but when you have that number of trees in such a small area,
Sure.
you're gonna have to put some on top of each other.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's ways to save money, but sometimes the ways to save money look good on paper don't end up actually saving money because we have to touch things more times. Our whole goal is to touch a tree as minimally amount of times as we can before it reaches its end product, whether that's wood chips or onto a truck or any of those solutions. So yeah, we've done this enough times to know that the more times we touch it, it just ends up all those little things that end up adding up over a 5-day period.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I'll let you know by today. That way you've got time to plan other things and we'll get you on the schedule. So I'll give you a call here once we're done talking through it.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, Austin. All right, we're definitely in a tough situation here because the main thing with all of these beech trees is that A, they're 80 to 100 feet tall, but B, the fungus has compromised the structure and the integrity of the trees, so they can't just be dropped. I think they're what's called widowmakers, stuff that neither one of us are anywhere near comfortable with. We don't have any idea what we're doing with trees of that size and quantity, so it looks like it's gonna have to be kind of a full removal here. Obviously not a good situation starting out with this cabin. We're about 5 to 7 years too late from a removal plan, just based on how fast the fungus has set in all the beech trees. Definitely something that the previous owners just ignored, flat out. We knew they were around, we just didn't know it was to this capacity, so that's on us. At this point in time and kind of where they are and where they're leaning against the house, or they will hit the house or hit cars or anything like that, it's just gonna be kind of something we have to bite the bullet on, I think. The plus side, should make a cool video. They have awesome equipment, so if you're excited to see that, hopefully we are too. The guy we're working with, Austin, is amazing. His team sounds like they're just gonna do a great job, and so very confident there. Just hard to invest that kind of money in our house right away.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear, and as we progress through the job, set you up the best that we can for, making sure nothing's going to hit anything you don't want it to, and also leaving you with as minimal of cleanup as we can.
Okay. All right. Hey, Austin, I appreciate all your help, and we look forward to working with you.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, Austin. Feel a little better about that.
Yeah, me too.
Here we go. You with you?
Go with me.
All right. See what we can do. So fun. And we didn't continue camping. Oh boy. All right. We'll let you guys know what happens. We took the afternoon to kind of gather our thoughts and just kind of talk it through, Amelia and myself. That way we can make sure we're doing the right thing and both on the same page with what has to happen for our property. It looks like it is going to have to be a complete removal of all of the dead trees. We counted 55, and we'll see if they end up getting through all of them. If there's some that are actually not super in the way, we're going to leave those and just deal with them at a later date. But we really have to make sure that this is something that we take care of. It's putting our house in danger, and it's also putting our cars and the camper and wherever else, whenever we're walking around the immediate area, is a hazard. Definitely not a great thing to have to deal with right now, but it is our property, so we're gonna take care of it. And just wanted to go on a nice walk here, change up some scenery, and talk you guys through our thought process.
So if you heard from that phone call, he projected that this project would take about 5 days, and that would cover, taking all the trees out, cutting them up, and then the bigger logs that he can't cut up, he'll take them out and then make our yard look basically back to normal, which sounds really nice, and we really wanted to do 5 days, but honestly we can't. We can only budget for 3 days, and that's just all we can cover right now. It's just very expensive, and it sucks to have to pay something like this, but Connor and I are just sitting here trying to make sure we're doing the best thing for ourselves and our home. So we kind of compromised with him on doing 3 days, and based off on the third day, if there's still a ton of trees left or he just has to drop trees to get other ones down, we said we're fine with that. So we're hoping we're not making the worst choice, and hoping that, you know, if we do 3 days, that we're not going to be stuck with about 20 trees just on the ground. Hopefully that's not the case.
Part of the thought process on not spending the full amount for a complete removal job is if it's just a matter of cleaning up the trees, cleaning up the mulch piles, and just kind of making our yard pretty again, Amelia and I are happy to do that ourselves, and we'd rather save that money and put it towards either a rental piece of equipment or buying a piece of equipment. Being on a wooded property, we will probably need something at some point, so we're going to look at doing that down the line and just invest that money. Instead of having them do it, we'll do it ourselves. But we can't handle the tree removal part and dropping all those trees, so we're going to let him do that. And then we'll do the fun stuff later on, building the walking trails, cleaning the property and making it look pretty, and showing you guys everything that has to do with that whole process.
Also, it is extremely warm today. What did you say it was? It's sunny and
65?
65. This is probably one of our warmest days yet, and we're so happy with it because we get to go on a hike. We would honestly be wearing t-shirt and shorts, that's how warm it is, but we thought it could be a little buggy since it is middle of spring. But I'm taking the warm weather. I'm here for it. We both could use some color on our skin. I also know that we've touched on this before, but it's another, I guess you could say, silver lining for the reason that he came out so early. Before we did any, you know, landscaping or serious hard work or grass growing, anything that could have just cost us more money for no reason. I don't think we included this clip because it was just really hard to hear his audio, but when Austin was talking to us, he's really glad that we called him so soon because he's had some clients that call and their house is all newly renovated and landscaped and it looks beautiful, but when he has to come in with his excavators and heavier machinery, their landscape gets a little torn up, or he has to be extra careful and it takes longer. So that's a plus, I guess, but doesn't feel very good having to lose about 55 trees. That's the biggest thing I'm worried about, what our backyard's gonna look like now, if it's gonna look super see-through or not, but I guess time will tell. Oh well, at least we're out for a gorgeous hike. You can see it right there. It's like Michigan. Ah! Also, with this whole tree saga that we're going through, I just feel like I'm walking through hikes a little bit differently, trying to analyze the trees and guess what they are. Connor has that app that we've talked about before where you can scan it. Obviously, it helps to scan the leaves because that's what tells us the tree, but we're just trying to play a little game because it's good for our knowledge. Honestly, I cannot keep some of them straight, but some of them I can. I'm getting impressed with my knowledge.
Yeah. This is a pretty similar property to what we have, so the tree mixture is very similar. There's still quite a few dead aspens here. Not as many beech in this area that we've
Aspens
seen.
or ash?
Ash. Still lots of dead ash. Not as many dead beech trees in this area. Lucky for them. But lots of maples, oaks, cherries. That's all.
Ironwoods.
Ironwood. So many trees.
There are so many trees. It's just fun to guess now, I guess. Going through this huge dilemma gave us some tree knowledge, so hey, there's a pro, right?
Here's a great example of the ash trees. They die, and then the root system ends up giving out, so the whole tree topples over. Whereas the beech trees snap halfway through, the ash trees just uproot and fall all the way down. The most important thing about this whole situation is that Amelia and I are on the same page in terms of what's best for us, best for our new property, and we're just excited to get this next chapter of property ownership done and through.
Yeah, we just needed to talk it over, figure out what was best for us, and that was 3 days. We talked with him, and he's coming next week. So we're excited. We're nervous, but excited, and yeah, can't wait to see them do what they do best.
Hopefully you guys are looking forward to a video full of tree equipment and excavators and just kind of seeing this property transformation come together. But we'll see you in the next video. Hope you guys have a large day.
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Wishing